$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings.
Your brother says have a slight technical problem. Resolved in a minute. Less than a minute, actually. Okay, here we go. Here a little bit.
$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulman Rahim here, Message of the Covenant. Break of 7 seals. False claim can prove it. No one's broken their seals that you know of. That's from Muhammad. They claim they broke the 7 seals. They talk about the Lamb. Elijah Muhammad never made that claim. I was there. Can't find any place he said he broke those seals. Farrakhan sure hasn't made that. That's one. He ain't told that lie yet. So you should be looking for the one that broke the seals, shouldn't you? You should be seeking the message of the covenant, shouldn't you? At any rate, the reason I make this declaration, brothers and sisters, because it's just to make for you it makes manifest those people that Farrakhan, they're liars. It's not to save them, shake that tree, because some of our people stuck caught in that tree. Right? They fall out and leave those rotten apples up in there. Okay. Okay, brothers and sisters, this is part 2. Part 2. I talked about yesterday. Let me say a couple of things first of all. First of all, people are dead. Oh, no, not people are dead. It says we'll be dead until the 4 winds blow. So some people think they're alive, they're not. How do you know you're alive? If you don't, you can't handle the angel, you're still dead. You might not like be saying that, but that doesn't matter. It's a fact. If you know you're alive. That's what it says. It says they first Elijah, right? He brought them together, but he said they had no spirit. They had the angel. See, you know, it's like saying someone they can't read, but they claim they're educated. Well, no, if you can't read, if you can't read any language, you're not educated. Well, Prophet Muhammad couldn't read. He wasn't educated either, was he? He just repeated the information that he got. He just repeated. The Quran didn't come from him. It came through him. It's different. It didn't come from him. It came through him. He wasn't educated. So you got to walk around. I mean, you walk around and you're doing things. Yeah, you walk around doing things, but you're not alive. You're still dead. That's what the scripture tells you. You're still dead to truth. You're still dead to the reality of the world coming in. And that's the challenge. That was the challenge of the Lamb. I mean, that's why it's so stressful. Because he said he had to walk alone. He couldn't find anybody to talk to because they had to be alive to keep up with him. They're not. Some alive, well, really? People who put the planets together, the galaxies together, constellation together, and they can't even do basic math. It shows you're not alive. Like they're sleepwalking. I used to do a lot of that when I was a child. Mother told me that Waverly Avenue in Newark. The other time you just had flats. The flat is just like the room is straight through. Right. You had the bathroom, you had the kitchen, then you had that was me and my sister's room because we shared one, right? It was straight through. You can see right through. Then the next room was parents' room, and the next room was the living room. Straight through. I call it flats. Mother said I used to. She passed now was a 9, so I guess about 7, 8. She used to see me get up. You can see right through, right? And so me get up in the middle of the night and walk and get to the bathroom door and urinate right there at the door. I didn't know anything about all of that. I was making it to the bathroom, I guess. So anyway. But people sleepwalking. And they think they're alive. They're not. They're not alive. You will be in a minute, but you're not right now. Because you're looking at how you know you're alive. Angel is, once you get that, that's the first level. It's like kindergarten. I mean, you got to learn your ABCs. You don't learn ABCs, you can't read. And Angel might seem complicated to you now. But once you get home and wake up, it's going to be like a piece of cake. It says Suleiman was the first one to rise from amongst the dead. He's the only one. First one to rise from amongst the dead. They say Elijah. First one to rise from amongst the dead. Then it was his job to raise everyone else up from the dead. It's stressful because he said he'd walk alone. That's another hint right there. Because there was no one with him. No one was alive. Someone's not going to make it because to come alive takes a lot of energy, and you don't want to focus. They don't want to focus on this. They want energy. Want to be an NBA, NFL, right? And then you talk to them and say, "Well, how do you spell NFL?" They got to go to Google. How you spell NBA? You think I'm joking? Yes, there are people that. It's unfortunate. I mean, I've been saying things for years and years and years. People have been around for years, yet still can't get the basic stuff. To me, it's simple. That's the situation that people are in. There's going to be a hard wake up, shock. Because the reason why, do you ask yourself these questions? It says they will flee under panic. Why? Because they didn't take advantage of this information. They either get the information of the angel or they disregard it. Because why would you have to flee if you already was aware, right? The storm was coming. The storm was coming, you get the hell out of there. If you don't know, bam, next thing you know, your house is shaking, car turned over, roof blown off. See? And a storm is coming like you've never seen before in your life, brother and sister. You never will see again. It tells you. I can't get. I know no one really understands what I'm saying. I know no one understands what I'm saying. I know they don't. I can tell by the reaction what they say. They don't have no idea what's like. Muhammad told that brother, "You do not know what you're up against, brother. You have no idea, brother. Yeah, I can't wait till the." No, he said, "Brother, slow down." He said, "Don't pray for that." He told him, "Don't pray for it. Don't." Wow, that got me at that point. I was right there. I was within 2 feet of Elijah. I was security. Right? In fact, I was about within 2 feet. In fact, when you go and you see there's some broadcast on Sundays, right? There was brothers sitting along, facing towards the audience, right? Well, when the mission was there, didn't have one, two brothers. Yeah, the whole thing was a whole line of brothers all the way across you, maybe 20, 30, all across. They're sitting almost next to each other, and I was sitting right in front of the messenger. When this brother, I didn't know all the time, but this particular time I was sitting right that minute, and then the brother jumped up. And we weren't supposed to do that because we FYI, I mean, when he gave Q&A, that was mostly for the lost founds, right? This brother was excited, and at that time, see, I think he gave see what he gave that. I think it was 73, right? And so I was 24 at the time. And he was he's a young brother too, right? He jumped up. He was excited. We was all excited, but we were supposed to be restrained. He just couldn't hold himself. The apostle. I'd be so glad when that day come and we get out of here. See, out of here. The liar Farrakhan said we ain't going nowhere. He called him God a liar. And Elijah like, I can't. And I said, hold it, brother. He said, do not pray for that day. Because you have no idea what you're up against. That's what he said. You may be able to find that if you go look at, Theology of Time, because they got a series out there that they print all of them, right? I think they're out on YouTube. I haven't checked. That's what he said. And it took me, ooh, because a lot of brothers they was praying for that day. He said, don't pray for that day. Don't pray for it. And that's the path to our salvation. But so, you understand how deep that was? He said he would go and ask Master Muhammad whether he could tell us or not. He said Master Muhammad told him he couldn't tell us. I guess it was just too much for us to handle. And now I understand Injil. I know what he's talking about. You have no idea what's about to hit here. None. Zero. I don't care if you've been studying it, you have no idea what's about to hit here. Because if you did, you'd be acting differently. You have no idea. Whatever you think is going to be about 1,000 times worse than that. I'm telling you. It says unprecedented. In America, particularly, says it's going to do a strange thing. That means something that has never been done before, never be done again. You say, wow, there's some terrible times happened in the past. Remember Shaka Zulu? Remember so-called Holocaust? And that's nothing compared to what's supposed to happen here. Unprecedented. They're not just saying that. It's so bad, right? That says the lamb is likely to be taken out of here. Right? And those left behind to go to the tribulation. When they say great tribulation, they mean tribulation. You're going to witness, see things that you never thought you're going to experience it. He said, experience is best teach by these scars. I just can't get it over. But see, I do this because, like I said again, not to say these people, not to warn them, so you can see clearly the difference between them and this truth here. Because if Farrakhan is all they say, why don't they step forward? Not one peep in the years it's been out there. And out today, I put one specifically with that, so make sure everybody sees it. Because I put it on the site, they're aware of it. Not one person has ever stepped forward and tried to claim it. Or they say bad things about me, send me in the Instagram. They never. If that's what he's doing, that should be easy. That's what he claims. Okay, let me say one other thing, brother and sister. Muhammad said many things, and many things, he said, it's probably 24,000 years per cycle. Now we know we have 4 seasons in a normal year, but this thing, I keep telling people, the pattern keeps repeating itself. So 4 times 6 is 24. So you have 4 seasons within each cycle. Now, we just came through the winter cycle, the worst winter ever. 6,000 years. Now we're moving into the spring cycle. That's not necessarily an analogy, that's what it is. Because the earth was extremely cold, that means it was energy deprivation. Cold means there's less energy. That's how you make cold, you pull the energy out. How you make heat, you put the energy in. So the energy went down to 0 almost. If it was 0, we'd have died. Oh my God, they're real low, really cold. Not just because, and we see evidence of it in it's not just an analysis. It was low energy because you see, look at the polar caps. Cold, the world is cold as ever been. The polar caps have got two continents that's totally covered with ice. And there were live continents before because they dig under, they see remains of animals and vegetation and everything else. How do those continents get frozen? It's like seeing Africa get frozen, covered with ice. And then you got all these deserts. And it wasn't desert because if you know anything about how things work, but see, they don't believe in biology because they did, they wouldn't be a Farrakhan because his father was the devil and the sea. But oh God, people, they're so ridiculous. But the thing is that how it all comes from. Check it out. All comes from the decayed biological matter. Over millions and millions of years. So where do you find the majority of the oil in the world? Under the deserts. That means Arabia wasn't a desert. Arabia was a paradise full of animals and vegetation and stuff. Because that's what the oil is evidence of that. All that oil under it. So how did it become a desert? Because there's less energy, the water levels go down, there's less, right? And so the world got ice on ice caps and deserts. See? And so this world was built over that structure. See, they got almost all the major seas are right along coastlines. See? So now that the spring is coming in, that means things start warming up. Global warming. But they say that's bad for them because they're winter people. See, when the winter comes in, the spring comes in, the winter is destroyed. The winter is destroyed. The spring destroys the winter totally. Now the winter going to resist because it's going to resist the spring. It's futile, but it will resist it. The more powerful the winter is, the stronger the resistance is going to be. So who's going to resist? You find the resistance are people are the winner. That's one of the reasons why I got that thing right there, because the people that's following that, they resist. They identify themselves as winter demons and whatever, as winter people. They're part of the winter season. They're part of the devils. Remember, the devils rule in the wintertime. The winter people rule. The devils rule. It's not. It's just an analogy. Because these people are like cold. They're white like snow. I mean, this is perfect when you understand the math of it. I'm kind of showing you the beauty of the math of it. Because, just open your eyes. You see, you don't have to see the angel. It's just obvious. They're like ice. They're like ice. They're cold like ice. They like cold. I remember when I was living in Chicago, right? I lived there. I sort of did with Elijah in 1775. I left Chicago in 83. I stayed 13 years. I don't know how I did that because I hate cold weather, but I was there. After Elijah departed, I stuck around for a few more years. It's 83. And I remember I was living along the lake. And, and I was jogging because, trying to stay healthy. And when wintertime come, I still had the job, right? And so I ain't know about gym and stuff at the time, right? And so I wouldn't even think about the weather. I said, if I thought about it, I wouldn't go outside because it was cold. It'd be cold hell out there in the winter, 10 below and stuff like that. So I remember I used to go out and I had 3 layers of clothes on. I don't even look out the window. I don't look at the temperature. I just open the door out there. I ain't sticking my toe in that pool because I'm not knowing I'm going to get in there if I stick my toe in there. I just go out. I'm getting along the lake. I'm running. I look like a dead polar bear. I got 3 levels of clothes on every day trying to stay warm. Even this devil running past me, all he got a t-shirt and a pair of shorts. I'm not exaggerating. I'm saying, what the hell? And you know, in Russia, they got this special thing where, I forget a celebration what they do, where they dress down to swimming shorts, and it gets really cold in Russia, and it's really and there's ice on the lake, and wherever they go, they jump in there to prove it something. I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? When you see it like I see it, you see it so clear, so beautiful. You need to see the angels see that. So they're the winter people. They don't like heat, do they? They have fun. They just don't like it. It's bad for them. Sunburn. You know what I'm saying? These glasses, you can't see it well anyway. You know what I'm saying? See? So, global woman, that's what happens when spring comes in. It starts warming up. But see, that's bad. Yeah, obviously. For them, it's bad. Warming up is bad for them. They don't want heat. They don't want to live in Africa. They don't want heat. But we do. So global warming means the plants, if spring is coming, it's for us. It's our time. It's our time. This ain't not, but they're, oh man, there's global warming. We got to stop global warming. Yeah, they're going to resist it. Plus, their whole reality, like I said, most of their seasons and stuff is built on ocean edge or whatever. That means when the polar caps melt, the world's going to rise, it's going to blow away all their major cities. No, global warming is in our favor. It's just like all this AI stuff. See, nobody connect the dots. I said we got the most sophisticated computer ever. We need it for 2 things: to write prophecy and also to navigate the universe. Same computer. So the AI age is the mind moving up to the next level. But they can't keep up with it. They lose control of it. They lose control of the weather. Because it's coming to spring. And they can't handle it. But it's bad. Oh, we don't want this. We don't want. See, they're going to fight against it. And when you start warming up and start warming up and start making demands and start getting more control because you're getting warmer now, you ain't sitting man in the cold freezer. Now you got to get getting out there, man. They're going to try to stop you. Couldn't have control of you anymore. Because now it's time, your time. You start to get because they had control of you, but now you start to get energized. It's as simple as that. Just simple as that. But you listen to them. Why is I like it here? I want to stay here. Because he's part of the winter. He's a winter person. And when spring comes, he's destroyed. He's ice. Ice do not survive in the spring. He's ice nature. That's how you know he's revealing himself, because he's totally against he's totally against the spring. We're not going nowhere. I like it here. I don't see what happen to this reality. You pay attention to what he's saying? He's telling you, I'm a cold person. I'm a winter person. I want to stay here. I like my people. Ain't devils no more. I like it here. I don't want to go nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. He ain't. They kissing on me and everything else. But you, I heard the worms eat your ass. I paralyzed the worms your ass. He don't want to go because it's burning his ass up. He couldn't make it there in the spring. It's just simple as that. I thought I make this. It said it's too so simple you don't have to need the math Or you need to use brain. Understand the difference between winter and spring. If you understand that, you understand what's going on right now. And you know, they cannot stop the spring. All they do is hold you down and get you to get frostbite and everything. Hold here trying to stay in the winter. When you're supposed to be in the spring, hell, dumbass Wesley. Oh man, we're in trouble because we're not getting enough sun. The boy's stupid. Supposed to have a PhD. We ain't getting enough sun. That's what he said. He has a whole thing about a couple of years ago, right? About that. I'm saying, okay, well then, okay, stupid. Then what's the solution then? Should we go back to Africa? If that's our problem, we're not getting enough sun. If that's the case, how come the people in Africa ain't doing so well nowadays? Dumbass. No, we should get more sun. We're sun people, but that's not the source for energy. So energy is a universe contracting. Energy coming back approximately 50 years. Another story. Let me get into it. But it's just simple as that. If you understand on that level, you got it. So you see people resisting, that's because they winter people. And they will not step up to get this. Because they lack it here. They lack what be able to devil. This is this. See? I want to stay here. They will think devils no more. They cannot handle the spring. It's nothing they can do. If you're ice, there's nothing you can do. You can't transform yourself into anything else. If you're ice, you're just dead when spring comes. And they're ice people. Your wealth is based on ice, Oprah, then your wealth is evaporated. All that's going, so you're going to fight like hell to keep the winter in. It's just simple as that. And that's what's going on right now. That's why it's worse. It's getting worse because the more spring come in, the stronger the resistance is going to be. All out war, trying to stop the spring. All out war, which going to destroy them, but you got to go through it. Big bloodbath. And then suddenly, you in the spring, and the winter's gone. I see a few icicles, something like that, but it's just we had this every 6,000 years, but we'll never go through a winter like that again. We have 4 seasons every 24,000 years. Probably at 4 seasons. Now we're going to spring. Then move into summer. I said spring will be spring is fixtured between the winter and the summer, right? It's the middle, but it's transition between the summer and this. See how this simple is? So therefore, if we summer people, right? And you got the spring that's in between the summer and the winter, that means a spring people will rule until the spring for the next 6,000 years. Master Farrakhan Muhammad, because he's half spring, half summer, and half winter. Is that simple enough for you? And the Shia, they half winter and half summer. They're spring. They're rule for the next 6,000 years. Bringing in the summer. And then summer comes in, it's giving back, like Elijah Muhammad told you. Then they're getting back to the tribe of Shabazz. See how simple it is? Just looking at from that point of view. You don't need calculus. You don't need trigonometry. You don't need the angel. If you understood that, that'd be wisdom, right? If you understood that, you'd be, oh man, what the? You understood that? I just told you right there. It's everything you need to know. If you know that, you're wise. You're wiser than anybody on the planet. Because that tells you everything it puts it in a nutshell, everything you need to know. How simple can it be? It's like every 6,000 years, all that's like little seeds right there. It's like some people spread seeds all over the place. Just put it that way. It can't be any simpler than that. Anybody should be able to understand that, except the winter people. They see, understand it. They realize that they cut your head off. That's why it says, the prophet Isa said, do not give your pearls to swine, because there's chump in the ground that coming after you. You can't make it any simpler than that, brother and sister. So we see right now the resistance is getting greater and greater and greater. but they're getting weaker and weaker and weaker. So long, if we just wait and don't do anything, right? We don't have to attack. I mean, so they're going to attack us. That's the problem. But we just wait and do nothing. Spring is coming in. They're going to be gone. They're going to melt. Just stay out of their way. But the problem is they're going to attack us. You got it? Let's move on, brothers and sisters.
Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement? And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Based on what I just said, brothers and sisters, I think I'm for my main subject to tomorrow. Didn't let you with the saute, on that a little bit. If you got that, when you say, I say less. I can't make it simpler than that because that's exactly what's going on. Exactly. Because we going back. Remember, we got the most, so we got to get to the level back there. So now I got computers. That's on the way. They can lose control of it. See? Mentally, you understand? Because computers, we have more sophisticated than they have there. That's just the beginning. Global warming, all this activity, war talk. That's signs of spring coming in and the resistance to it. And the resistance is what's going to be so off the page. The resistance. That's what's plus the resistance. But then the resistance is going to be off the page. But the other point about that is that I talk about the C-bomb. That's why we create a C-bomb. Because their resistance be so great. We got a C-bomb to block it. See? Because they're going to attack us, we need to defend ourselves. And we got that C-bomb. Let's build it up, build it up. We built it. They fueled it. We built it and we fueled it. And so when they attack us, we're going to drop the C-bomb on their ass. Those who paid attention, Andrew, know what I'm talking about. Consequence, why I said, don't do anything. But say C-bomb. See, when they retaliate, when they attack us, we got defense. Especially got Master Muhammad with his wheels. We got defense. But the jinn don't have a defense. That's why they're going to be a bloodbath. Have a defense. They didn't submit. They didn't build a C-bomb. You see how this comes together, brothers and sisters? See? When they have attacked, we're going to drop that C-bomb on their ass. The ultimate weapon. You cannot resist consequence. I don't care what kind of atomic bombs they have, they won't be able to use them. With that C-bomb in there, that's why I said, do them double as done to you. Can you imagine that? 500 years of hell they gave us. It's like punch somebody in the face once a day. For 365 days, once a day, bam, bam, punch in the face, man. The face all swollen up and everything else, man. Barely talk. And you just take it, you don't hit back. But consequence says, you were them 365 punches in the face. So you don't give to them one time, you give them a 1 day, all of it. 365 punch. So if each punch is worth 10 pounds, right? You get a 365-pound punch at one time. Oh, y'all shouldn't fuck with us. You fuck with the wrong people, especially fuck with our women. You have no idea what's about to hit your ass. You see me worried about it? Whoa. These fools here, they're best in the winter. Hold on. This, all you got, it tells you. If you get onto that angel, you don't get onto it. Some of you do slower than others. We told Joshua, you ain't got to worry about a goddamn thing. Nothing. Nobody be stand before you. Nobody can stop the spring, and you represent the spring. Say less. Here we go. I'm not going to do my regular for the day. I want you to savor that I talked about. Resume tomorrow, so I'm going to play a few things. So I was going to part 2 today, but I think I made that as clear as I did. I'm going to let you dwell on that. See if you can, savor that one.
I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Flager as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is, you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor,
Yes, sir.
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color. It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground and unity.
Yes, sir.
So I'm only one shade lighter than you, so. And Mustafa maybe 4 more shades lighter. We a family.
Yes, sir.
Let's stay a family and be a family and love each other as God would have us to love each other. We love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. Thank you. I had to do that. We love you.
One more time, brother.
3. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. 5. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold, therefore mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury, it upheld me. 6. And I will tread down the people in mine anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth.
Your brother and sister says he was alone. He was still dead. You know you're alive when you start reading an angel. But you'll be alive in a minute. You'll be alive in a minute. So that 4 winds blow, that's when you become alive. You came together, you had no spirit. You don't have it yet. You might think you have it, you don't. How does the dead know they're dead? You know? You have to come alive to realize you was dead. But you're dead, you don't know you're dead. Now people are dead. They don't realize it. See? Once you come alive, then you'll control your reality, and none of you control your reality. I control my reality. I'm here for you, because I could be the hell out of here. I don't need to be here. I know where to go. I don't need to wait. That's why I'm going to transfer me out of here. I know exactly where to go, what to do. I ask you for anything. And I'm putting a lot of time in all this effort, and I didn't ask for anything. I'm doing okay. I didn't ask for a dime, never have, never will. I'm all in. I don't take. It takes time to put these things together and think and study and try to put it in a form that you can understand. I didn't ask for anything. So-called son of man out there, oh, send me some money. Oh, we're going to give him some money, all right. Oh, see? Remember, put it like this way. The harder the winter is, the greater resistance, right? So if the winter's really bad, you have icebergs and stuff, right? Mountains of ice. It's hard to melt. See what I'm saying? The harder it is, right? That's why I talk about they sent back to a most grievous chastisement. That means they're still been around when spring comes in. Burn it up. That might be too easy for you to understand. It might be too complicated to understand. The harder they are, they won't see the ones that's not that. They don't resist that much. They go away easy. It's melt. That's the end of them. But the icebergs, oh, he said, I can watch them melt, suffer, burn. Harder they are, the more resistance. Yeah. Let's watch them suffer, burn. See how simple that is? So keep on resisting. That means the more hard to resist, right? Greater their most grievous chastisement. See, the ones that don't resist that much, they melt. That's not. But the icebergs, they got to sit around and watch that sun. They can't do anything. That sun just burn their ass up. Yeah. No, this is so beautiful. I tell you. You fuck with the wrong people. Told you don't mess with that tree, didn't you? You was warned. Also told you, so let my people go. Let them get out your house. You didn't do that either. I told you. So let my people go. Get them out your house. They about to explode. They said Farrakhan need to try to get us implode. That me, man, moi shit. Blame us for what you done. Farrakhan. Okay, the apocalypse. That's where our brothers and sisters, some people, the way you, depending on how you look at it, the apocalypse began. They attacked us. They attacked our nation. They attacked us as a people. Said, don't touch that tree. They attacked us as a nation. We know he was going to do it anyway. We warned them. So you can't say he wasn't warned. They attacked that tree, attacked us. They attacked us. That means they're at war with us. We wasn't touching them. There's a war with us. And the war doesn't end until the last soldier is taken down. And I'm not surrendering. And I'm still fighting. Elijah Muhammad stood up to you. Master Muhammad came and set him up. And he stood toe-to-toe with your ass. He knocked you out, but he would toe-to-toe your ass for 40-some years. Toe-to-toe. And you couldn't knock him out. So Master Muhammad, you was planning on killing him. Master Muhammad pulled him out. And they got lying, dog ass, stinking ass, funky ass, no good, son of a devil, Farrakhan. What I can do is funky, ain't he? Putting the shit in a bag. Can't wipe his own ass. Somebody told me when he's hungry, right, he goes into the bag because he's so damn stupid, he's all messed up. He wants something to eat, he grab the bag. Got shit all over his mouth. Well, that's what they call that, poetic justice. Eating the shit you've been passing out. He's messed up. They run around trying to figure out who's going to take his place. See, they back in the corner now because they claim nobody's after him. So now, who they going to? They ain't put Ishmael up there. Nobody would follow that clown out of burning building. I know Wesley, dumb as he is, he wouldn't follow that dumbass Israel. Who you gonna follow? That boy, he don't even know what side his ass is on. And Daniel, that boy, I think he suck his toes. They're so stupid over there. So what are they gonna do? They confused. They put stuff in the corner. Over that Farrakhan, that's why I'm showing you pictures. Ain't oh, God told me shut up. They don't show anything because they don't know what to do. They can't find a verse in the Bible nowhere that justifies Farrakhan. So how they going to get anybody after him? But they told them to peel that money and carry it on. They messed up over there. But it doesn't matter because they're going to be kissing their own ass head to head. You think it's impossible somebody to put their own ass up their head? I mean, their own head up their ass. So you watch these guys. They're going to accomplish it. And their home or heads up their ass in a few more days. I ain't talking about years. I'm talking about this year. This year. Icebergs. The most grievous chastisement. They never mentioned Joshua. Why? Never mentioned the covenant. Why? Never mentioned the covenant. Why? I'm not going to get to that today. That was my topic today, bro. So that was part of the four. But like I said, since I'm going to let you, dwell on what I told you about where that analogy. It's really not an analogy. It's actually the way it is. And then tomorrow, depending on how things work out, I'll continue. Apocalypse. As long as there's one soldier standing, come up, take me out. Do your thing. See, they got some crazy plans. See, they want us to gather. They hope they know we're gonna gather together and we flee. But you know what they would do? If they was in one city, we was together in one city, what they do? These clowns would drop atomic bomb and blow the whole city away. That's their plan. You don't understand how they do. These people are desperate to stay here. They want to know where we're gonna flee to. And they just that at the end of it. It's never happened that way. That's their plan. They got plans. They close in on you, you don't see it. You'll see in a minute. Okay, I'm gonna do this quickly, bro. Since I've talked about this before, I'm gonna just quickly, then I'm gonna close. Just give me a minute. Okay, brothers and sisters, I'm going to go ahead and I've talked about this several times, but I'm going to talk about it one more time. At least right now, I'll probably talk about it again another time, but I'm going to close out with this. And you just ask yourself a couple of questions there. Exodus, man, it tells you Exodus. Exodus is a clear map of how our situation, and they agree with that. They say they actually that Sunday that applies to us, Exodus, but it says right in the title, we're leaving here, but they say we're not going anywhere because they're winning people. See, the winning people going to see it from the winning perspective. They can't see it from the spring perspective. They're going to see it from the winning perspective. They want to protect the spring. But consider this: what brings the spring in? The sun. That's why the Lamb was cast as the sun. I just thought it was so beautiful, so simple to come together. Why he cast as the sun? See? He's the one that brings the heat that melts, that invigorates. Let me walk along, that warms up the spring people that's freezing up in the winter. He melts the winter. You get it? That's exactly what his job is. That's why they cast him. I tell you, this stuff is beautiful when you put it. I'm trying to show how simple this is. You don't need the angel for it. That's why he's cast as a son. And he's walking along. There's only one son. So they put the sun out. They attack the sun. See? Because when the people, when you attack the sun, that's what brings the spring in. That's heating up everything. Then when things stay cold, attack the sun, block the sun. If you can't attack it, block it. Is that what they've been doing? So you block the sunlight. The sunlight has heat in it. So the more you block it, the hotter it gets. After a while, it's too hot, you can't block it anymore. It's beautiful, brothers. That's how I make it so simple. I don't think I make it. I keep saying I can't make it more simple than I come and show you even more simple. And that's exactly what Scripture's saying. So let me speak to this Exodus. Because see, they stop, even when they Exodus, they stop on the winter side of it. They don't go to the spring side. They don't talk about the of the covenant. Going home, they don't know. They stick right in the winter side because that's all they're going to see. That's all they see. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Now again, see, what Exodus says the God will come, but he had to come with power. He be considered God. So he said, I got this plane, and this everybody that's aware of this plane knows they can't touch this plane. This plane could destroy this civilization. In fact, it's been neutralized and all their neutral. They said it's all these planes are all around their nuclear installations. And once the plane leaves, the nuclear installation fails. It's inoperable. Sure, they would not be able to use their nuclear weapons. They would not. I told you, there would not be a nuclear war, but America would be nuked. There would not be a nuclear war. You would not be live over here for maybe thousands of years. It says that the place would be totally isolated because the radiation is carrying on. But it will be nuked. They wanted to wipe it out, destroy it totally. So that's God came. He said, that's plain. That's his power. Without that, he's just somebody here with a book, with a message. That he would raise a messenger. His name would be Elijah. There it is. That was his birth name. That's what Exodus says. They call Moses there, but in Malachi they call him Elijah. And he would request a spokesman. And the God said, look it up. The God said no. He was against it. He got angry. Elijah asked him. So his spokesman was not anointed. But Elijah insisted, kept on. So he said, okay, you got him. The mouth. Farrakhan. That's what Exodus says, right? And they stop right there. They stop Exodus right there. During a time when he was with Elijah. They don't talk about a time when Elijah was gone. His 40-year reign. They don't talk about that. Only talk about Well, they talk about but not in Exodus terms. Oh, he's been great. He's built the Nation of Islam. No, he ain't built a goddamn thing. I was there. He ain't built anything. He got study groups. I'm not going into all that, right? He's the mouth. That's what Daniel called the mouth. I was going to get into technical, that kind of stuff maybe later on in the week. If I finish this series, go into Daniel a little bit. But anyway, that is, Daniel got a hell of a message about what's about to happen here. When the goat comes, at any rate, finish off America. At any rate, he was not anointed. In fact, the guy said, no, you don't need him. He said, yeah, I got you. That's what Exodus said. They stopped right there. I said, why do they stop right there? Why didn't they mention Joshua? That's in Exodus. Malachi, how can I mention the message of covenant? How can I mention it? Never, ever. How can I mention the covenant? What's the covenant? If you're the messenger of covenant, what covenant you're the messenger of? It tells you right there in Abraham, this day I made a covenant with you. His word, God's word, that you return to Arabia. It tells you between the river Egypt and the river Euphrates, right? That's Arabia. Look on the map. He returned it after 40 years, but Farrakhan said, we ain't going nowhere. So they called God a liar. And it's called Elijah a fool and a liar. Because Elijah said it would be fools who want to stay here. See, it's nowhere for this lion dog to hide. He can't hide. See? But he let you hide. He let you hide your head up his ass. Your head stuck up his ass, so keep it up there. That brown stuff, he telling you it's honey, go ahead. Oh, it tastes funny. If he says honey, it must be honey. Well, keep on munching on it. Because there's no place for him to hide. There's no place for him to hide. Biologically, he can't hide. His father's the devil. He admits it. So his father's a white Portuguese Jew. Caucasian. That's what he said. That means his father would be a white Caucasian Portuguese Jew. That means him a black Caucasian Portuguese Jew. Black skin. That's biology. But no. See, they don't want truth. They can't. I mean, I can't blame for that because they were the people. They never see they can't understand the spring. Spring is, oh man, it's hot. They can't comprehend the spring. Spring is bad news for them. Winters, they love it. Keep living winter forever. But now spring's coming in, that's an enemy to them. He's a winter person. He likes it here. He loves devils. This is this. They're brothers. Yeah, they're his brothers. But they stop right there. But what Exodus says? Exodus says, no, Joshua, he's the one to take you home. He's the one to lead you and take you to the spring, take you home. He breaks the seals. That light, that sunlight. He releases that sunlight on your ass. They don't talk about him. They don't talk about him, the message of the covenant. Even Malachi, they don't talk about the one who's cursed with a curse, with robbing a nation. Cursed with a curse. What's a curse to a man? At 55, having, which you might consider your manhood, blown away. Radiation pellets to blow your ass up. Turn you into a eunuch. At 55, pissing and shitting in a bag. He's worse than that now. He works that now because he can't wipe his own ass. He can't get around. Like I said, they got to watch him. He pisses shit in the bag. He got hungry. He started going to the bag. They got to keep an eye on him. Tell him I'm lying. Show a picture of him. Show a picture of him. He said, the guy told him to shut up. He told him he could come out public, just walk around. Just a wave. Hello. You see? Tell you, he's putting shit in the bag and have to watch him because he get hungry. He goes and he gets to the bag. He can't wipe his own ass. He's pathetic, incontinent. Yet they got the head square up his ass. What's going on with Mr. Farrakhan, the pimp? He's not even a pimp no more. This story. Tell him I'm lying. He's going to take it home. The torch is passed from Elijah, Moses to Joshua. It's passed right past Aaron. He don't get it. He said, I'll be with you as I was with Elijah. What happened to Aaron? He died in the wilderness. He didn't make it to the promised land. He got all his followers killed. It says right in Exodus. Okay, let's move on. See, this is there for him. That's why UFOs don't exist. Because UFOs don't exist, the Master Muhammad is just somebody that came here, like Noble Ali, somebody with some words. Right? Something, he come in any power. He's not a God. He's come here with some information. See? He couldn't call himself a God. That's why the program, because he has power. Hey, so nobody has power to destroy America. God out there. That's why I had to say, that's the program to say there's no such thing as UFOs. And then they had to destroy Elijah, totally destroy it. He had his son to do it, so look, credibility. See? Destroyed everything. While Farrakhan was right at his side. Liquidated all the assets in Nation of Islam, all of it. Took the money and ran. They all took, left believers with nothing. Hard-working believers put that together, worked with Elijah to put that together, left them to ripped off all the money. Farrakhan's a millionaire, so is he. Or was he dead now? I guess he should diabetes. I guess he should right to live. Bad-mouthed father. Farrakhan was bad-mouthing Elijah too. Bad-mouth Master Muhammad. Farrakhan was doing it too. Said there wasn't no messenger, there wasn't no God. Farrakhan was right there with him. Destroyed everything. Got rid of at least one thing. At least he ain't going around talking about he's running, why? Because he got rid of, started something called Belialians. But Farrakhan, he's using Elijah's name. These Wallace didn't do that. He's like, there's a hook. Oh, I'm with Elijah. I'm with Farrakhan. I'm teaching them. I'm with Master Muhammad. He's not teaching them teachings. So this is what they got. Sure. So God is nothing. He ain't no God. Elijah wasn't no messenger. That's what exactly he did. Then what? Now Farrakhan's the Messiah. That's it. He's the Messiah. He's it. He's the Christ. Said Elijah see called himself the God, Christ. Which says in Thessalonian after the fall away. Exactly what it says. Do not be deceived. That's what we've done. They don't want you to understand who Joshua is. I told you that's what I was going to talk about tonight. They don't want you to know who Joshua is, because that's why he gave the fake Jesus name. And I'm going to it. I'll probably get to it tomorrow. They get a fake. It doesn't exist. It's not in the man. I'm not going. Look at my previous presentation. It doesn't exist. The name is a made-up name. They don't want you to know about Joshua. He's the Messiah. With nappy hair, wool hair, dark skin. That's not Farrakhan. It's not Master Muhammad either. He's the God. But he's not the Messiah. That's what they're telling you right now. See? That's why they don't mention the message of the covenant, because he's the Messiah. Ain't no Messiah but him. Now he's on deathbed, don't know what to do. Then what? You see? And they say, the healing, they say Farrakhan doing it. They attribute that to Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard. Go over there and find out. That's all they talk about is him, his engrams and carrying on. And what does he bring? Then he brings his Sunnism. That's the jinn. And the cross. That's Scientology, isn't that symbol? You missed that one? Catholicism 2.0. That's what their Exodus looks like. That's what you see, read. That's the one they give you. So you're not Master Muhammad. Remember for years, originator, or so now Master Muhammad. Well, we'll deal with that. Well, he's gone. And then they got Scientology. He's the Messiah. Where you find? You can't find any scripture that backs this shit up. None. What's going on, brothers and sisters? Move on. Okay, I'm not getting to this, brothers and sisters. I'm resume to that was the second level here. Let me say one thing before I close. You know what a compass is? See, a compass is something that points you north, so you know you're going north, east, west, or south, right? So if you get a compass don't work, you just spin around, you don't know where you're going. See? So you're going around in circles. And that's what it done. So they give you a compass, the information they gave you, it's confusing because you don't know who your enemy is. See, that's what you understand what Farrakhan is doing. What they got him to do. Because the devil ain't the enemy no more. It's you the enemy. So you beat yourself up. So we're not fighting with flesh and blood. And they keep saying that we're not struggling with flesh and blood, but evil men high place. They say, oh, evil men high place is right here. They'll tell you if we're not the problem, it's the evil people that's the problem. No, somehow it's so stupid. And what's the other one they do? What's the other one they do? I just had took my tongue. What do they do? But see, that's what angel does. It comes and gives you a compass so you know which way is east, west, north. You only get that from the angel. That's why it's clear. So then you know who's who, what's what, and what you need to be doing. Like I just explained to you. But if you got a compass that's confusing all around, you don't know where north side. You just go and you don't know where to go. You know if you're going the right way or not. They tell you, oh, that works. So you found north is south, and south is east, and whatever. You understand? So I think other thing I missed it. They say let's struggle with flesh and blood. No, when they say I can't remember what it is. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there, brothers and sisters. Anyway, it's not what everything's coming ahead in a minute, brothers and sisters. Things will never be the same again. It'll never be the same again. So I'm gonna leave it there, brothers and sisters. Tomorrow, perhaps I'll do part two. I want you to think about what I'm saying about winter and spring, because that's it, brothers and sisters. Yeah, I know soon I close down, I remember that was. Anyway, I'm leaving it there, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum. What's this stuff? Who deals with all this crap? Just be right back, bosses. I've got a small. Take a second to correct this.
We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody. These are these people. You can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried. We've tried. Everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. Naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, you heard that. Donald Trump is a believer in eugenics. He believes that white people are the superior race. And inner city is code for black people. And he believes black people cannot now work on the farms. I guess they're not good enough for that. So Hispanic people can do it because they have the backs for it. This is what this man is saying out loud in interviews. He is a racist. It's been proven time and time again. The man had Mein Kampf on his bedside table that he would read at night. Enough to let you know where he stands on that. Just more outrageous, racist things from Donald Trump. They want to arrest those who can do the farm work, well, until their backs give out. And then he'll probably ship them to El Salvador or some other country. Just more vile statements from the president and let you know where he stands.
When they were arresting people for praying outside of abortion clinics. I mean, I do think the UK, and I say this as, someone who is half English, I think it's like reached, or it is quickly reaching a point where democratic reforms are going to be pretty tough because of the demographic change. And that, of course, the point of importing all these people is to overwhelm the people who live there who disapprove of the program. So you don't have to care what they think because you just bring in new people and their will becomes like all that matters. And so I don't think you're going to fix these things through elections at some point, probably pretty soon. And I just worry a place like the UK, Canada is another, a bunch of different countries in the West are at the point where they're literally revolutionary. They are poised for revolution. And as someone who really doesn't support revolution and hates violence and hates civil war above all, I'm worried about that. I mean, I don't see how this is fixed. Starmer, who's, he's just an instrument of larger forces, but he's a poisonous character, obviously, who's really hurt your country. He's in there for 4 more years. And so you wonder, people are going to start to get really radical in a scary way. I think this is going to happen. And the people in charge don't seem to care.
Well, you're already seeing it. You are seeing the anger beginning to manifest itself, and I completely understand the anger. I don't like you. I abhor any form of violence, but I do understand the anger when you have, Keir Starmer campaigned, I'm going to smash the gangs that allow these little boats to come over the channel, delivering tens of thousands of people illegally into the country. And they then get put into these so-called asylum hotels where they're given a pretty good lifestyle, certainly a far better lifestyle than many people really struggling at the moment in the UK. And of course, far from smashing the gangs, it turned out yesterday that he's smashing new records for the number of people coming in illegally on the boats. Of course. It's out of control. And the British public are reaching a point of saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly?
Public are reaching a point of saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly? You'd really have to force a lot of people to go back to their countries of origin, millions of people, and you need to do it really soon. And are they actually willing to do that? I don't know, but these are existential questions that we have been browbeat into ignoring for decades. But the question is is Ireland Ireland? If it's majority non-Irish, oh, shut up, they're Irish. No, they're actually not Irish. Same with the UK, same with England, Scotland, Wales. It's all changing so fast. Nothing like this has ever happened in all of history, except when, say, the Mongols swept across the steppe and raped everybody. That was true demographic change on this scale. But even that wasn't as profound as what we're seeing in every white country around the world. I would say the West, but Australia and New Zealand also. So, what is that? Now, my brain is not big enough to understand what that is. I have a lot of theories about it, but I don't know if they're true. All I know is what the numbers are, and that's real, and no one feels that he can say it. Everyone's like, oh, well, if that were happening in China or India or Malaysia or Senegal, it doesn't matter. You'd be like, what the hell is that? The population's totally different. Look at graduation. Pick, King's College Law School, and look at the graduation picture for the last 30 years. Who's in it? Just let your eyes tell you the truth for once. This is a total change in population. Is it better? Is it worse? Can't have that conversation. Who's pushing this? Does the population want it? The population clearly doesn't want it. There's no polling that's meaningful on the subject. There's no referendum on it. You don't get to decide. You've got no voice in it, other than you get to go to jail if you complain loudly enough about it. What is this? I think it's the biggest and darkest thing that has happened in the last 1,000 years, for sure. And I think it's leading somewhere really, really bad. It's not happening by accident, that's obvious, because it's only happening in white countries.
I think that...
Oh, shut up, white supremacist. Well, in fact, I'm not a white supremacist. I'm just noticing what the hell's going on.
I think most people I've spoken to about this in the UK, most people have always viewed the UK to be a very tolerant, multicultural, cosmopolitan place to live. That's why so many people want to come here. And people have no problem with that. And it's been very successful for a long period of time.
But it's multicultural? What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country, is Sharia law... What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country? Sharia law every bit as valid as English common?
No, people don't want Sharia law here. No.
A lot of people do. Wait, hold on. I don't know what you mean. Multiculturalism itself is a lie designed to subvert a society. No, a society has a culture. You can argue about what it is or ought to be. It's not necessarily the same as race. It's connected to race, but it's not the same. People from different races can buy into your culture. That was kind of the beauty of the West. But a multicultural society is not sustainable. There's never been such a thing.
Is
one
about
culture will dominate.
Hang on, Tucker. Surely the United States of America, given the very way it was created, is the epitome of a multicultural society. And my point I was going to make to you was...
It's absolutely not. It's multicultural there. There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 27 amendments? Right. So your own values, as determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing times.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
Once you start rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's
determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing times.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So those values can evolve.
There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 27 amendments? Right. So your own values, as determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing times.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. Natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
Once you start rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's multicultural, we can all live and have radically different values, that's just not true. It's never been true. It never will be true. So you're having one culture, one worldview predominate over another and dominate and suppress all dissent. That's just what it is, dude. Let's be honest.
I would point to the United States of America and the United Kingdom as two shining examples, albeit not completely without their flaws, but shining examples of places that are deemed by the rest of the world. I certainly feel that about my country.
Well, I certainly think that inherent in Christianity is the notion of tolerance, and that draws from a core Christian concept, which is free will. You cannot force someone to convert. There's never been conversion by the sword in Christianity. People decide to believe in it. And so that is central to the religion, therefore it's been central to the society. Western civilization is Christian civilization. And so we call that tolerance. It's a respect for your inherent God-given right to make a choice about what you believe. Okay, so of course, that's always been a feature. My only point is, a society has a commonly agreed upon set of beliefs, rules, and laws. that are the definition of the society itself. That's what society is. So you can't have competing. You can't have, gay world and Sharia world living co-equally in a society. That does not happen. It will never happen. You have to pick one. Are we the Sharia society? Are we the party time gay rights society? Like, which one? And you can't face that reality. So you're just sort of snoozing along until the inevitable point where you're going to wake up and be like, my values have no bearing on what our society is anymore, because we've been invaded by other people with a totally different worldview, and they're now in charge. And that day is coming very soon for your country, and maybe it'll improve it. I don't think the UK could be a lot worse than it already is. It's this kind of disgusting, sad, self-hating, suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English person, but that day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architect. That's a choice that we're all going to face. Suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English. That day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architects of mass migration. Sorry.
I would question your characterization as my country as a sad, disgusting, what was the rest of it, suicidal nation. I feel none of those things. I feel very happy to be in the United Kingdom, and I feel that there are lots of very happy.
Our system, the Western system, which is very distinct from the Eastern system, very distinct, and it's distinct on this one precise point, we believe and have always believed since this country was founded, since your country became, not a pure monarchy, but even when it was a pure monarchy, the belief in the West, because of Christianity, was the worst thing you can do is punish the innocent. That's the worst thing you can do. That's worse than not punishing the guilty. And we often said that to each other. We no longer say that because there is a pretty concerted effort to blur the meaning of these terms. But I'm not going to be deterred from defining words precisely. Terror is murdering people, killing people, punishing people who committed no crime. Period.
So when the Israeli government says it has repeatedly that even though over 20,000 completely innocent children are believed to have died in their response to what Hamas did on October the 7th at the hands of the IDF, there are many on the pro-Palestinian side who say that Israel is behaving like terrorists too in the way that they have gone about conducting this war. Would you go as far as to say that?
One of the things that I really object to now is this relentless focus on Israel, which, by the way, is a foreign country that I have nothing to do with.
We've done this before. Now, maybe today things are different, and we will end up living in a nation that is sharply divided and may ultimately produce something else. But I'm an American. I love my country. I want to see it stay together. I'm interested in social cohesion, which means that I think our laws, customs, and culture have to be dominant. We can accept some diversity on the edges, but not fundamental division. I think we're in a state of fundamental division. So when I bring up Sharia law, I've sat in many discussions with many people that said, well, I don't care what people look like, but I do care about Sharia law, and I don't want that practiced anywhere near my family or in my country. And that's something you should be aware of. So the notion that someone can come here and say, well, that's part of my religion and we're going to abide by Sharia law, they're going to find serious resistance and opposition in the country.
And as I clarified,
It's because it matters. It's this thing we call societal cohesion. Nations do not exist on their own. They have a core population. Our core population from the very beginning was always at least 80% European and Christian, and about 15 to 20% African. But when you start bringing in huge numbers, millions, who are fundamentally different from the core population, you are going to get violence, anger, and conflict. How many times have you heard people say, if you bring people in from the developing world, what do you get? The developing world. And now we've got that. You can't bring in hundreds of thousands of people from Somalia, plant them, of all places, in Minnesota, and then be shocked that, no, they're not Americans. They're not really interested in being Americans. They're foreigners living on American soil. Nobody wants to say that publicly. If you do, oh, well, you're a racist. Well, you know, the world is full of racists. The real war that's going to decide our fate is not going to be fought anywhere overseas. It's going to be fought right here inside the United States. Are we going to survive as a republic, as an English-speaking republic that rests on the foundations of Western civilization? Or are we going to become something else?
One point that is
The Constitution was completed in 1789. I think we had 5 million people living in the 13 British colonies. We were 90% white, that is excluding the Africans that were in the country who had been brought here as slaves. But we were 90% white. We were 90% Protestant. And this may be hard for you to believe, but the people that wrote that were trying to protect all of the Protestant sects from a state church on the model of the Church of England and the Roman Catholic Church. That's one of the reasons it was almost 100 years or more after that before people began to finally accept Catholicism as a religion, because it was viewed as political power. My point to you is the Constitution is outdated. The way we are governed is outdated. It has to be re-examined. Nobody in 1789 imagined that anybody would come to the United States except another lunatic, religious fanatical Protestant who hated the Church of England. That's what people feared. That's what they thought of. The Constitution that we have does many good things, but I would argue that the Bill of Rights is ultimately more important. The Bill of Rights is vital and essential, and that needs to be defended. But the Constitution and the way we govern and the things that we're doing, it's out of date. It doesn't fit our needs. And that's back to my comment on something given has no value. You have to earn it. And we haven't made anybody earn their place in this country. I'm talking about people like me that have been here forever. My first ancestor stepped off the boat in 1681. So we've got to get back to some notion of national service, because national service promotes national integration. It addresses some of these problems that you're discussing. Now, I know that you may not want to conform and may not want to be as I am, but I'm an American and nobody questions that. Nobody ever will. If you don't want to stand out and be questioned, then I suggest that you change your appearance, because I don't think it's life or death for you to wear what you wear.
I think this conversation.
It's not fine, because it's leading to violence that could have otherwise been avoided. You see, every great nation, every large nation can always accept some number of people into its ranks that are different from them. It's always been the case. But if you suddenly import millions, which is what's happened here and happened in Europe, then you threaten the core gene pool. What I'm trying to tell you is there's a problem. And we can all pretend that there isn't, and you can insist there isn't, but that's the view. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to address it truthfully and openly. Stop pretending it's not a problem. It's a problem.
I mean, what's also a problem is white supremacy, and that's.
No, because you're saying you're different, you're going to remain different, and you don't think that if that's not compatible with being an American, then the hell with it. That's what you're going to do.
Well, then what do you make then of, white American people who convert, let's say, to Islam and choose to cover? Are they not American anymore?
Listen, if they want to do that, that's obviously their business. I don't know how many are out there that do that. I think again, it's ill-advised. I think you have to hold the society together. There has to be an agreement on certain things, customs, culture, way of life. And unfortunately, if you're going to practice rigidly a brand of Islam that demands certain things, and this is why I asked right off the bat, do you support Sharia law?
I'm a Muslim. What being a Muslim means is I follow the guidelines of my religion, which is a peaceful
Does your religion dictate to you Sharia law?
My religion dictates to me to be a good human being, to be good to my neighbors, to
that the most powerful force in today's Republican Party is represented by what Charlie Kirk said. It is this drive to make America a white Christian nation. I got to tell you, this is what they say privately. This is now what they say publicly. This is what Charlie Kirk said publicly.
And Joe, again, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because you know these people very, very well. Yeah. You said it yourself. You were one of the strongest voices. You were one of the folks who understood the incendiary language when you were in Congress, when you had your radio show, and how people loved when you did it. And then when you chose to apologize for that and turn away from it, oh my God, they literally have just tried to destroy you because of that.
Yeah, again, you know the deal, Roland, right? I came out publicly against Trump 7 years. For 7 years, I put up with death threats on a regular basis. Nobody is welcome in that party unless you bow down to what this force is, this MAGA force. And again, look, there have been some people on the left who've celebrated Charlie Kirk's murder. Shame on them, be better people. But this is much worse, Roland, what my former friends are doing on the right, because they are turning this into a holy war. When you say we declare war on the left because of what some 22-year-old young guy did in Utah, and then you declare war on the whole left, that's a lot worse than celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder, because that's dishonest, but that's also inciting hate and violence. And Roland, look, Trump's an idiot. So yeah, Trump says the left, the problem in the country is the left. J.D. Vance is not an idiot. What did J.D. Vance say today, right? He was subbing for Charlie Kirk on his radio show, and he spent the entire show going after the left, going after them, they, them. Man, Democrats need to wake up, Roland. This is a really serious deal by my former colleagues. The stuff that I hear privately from them right now, Roland, for the last 5 days, I mean, they want to go to war. This is a holy war.
Oh, it absolutely is. And what really jumps out at me on this very thing here, Joe, and I've been saying this, I played the speech 2 weeks ago that mainstream media just ignored, of Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt, who gave a speech at NatCon, Peter Thiel's group, where he literally gave a white nationalist speech, where he said our ancestors fought for this country to be ours and no one else. He was talking about white people. He was basically saying, if you are Black, Latino, Asian American, or even Native American, America is not for you. And folks just ignored it. And so people need to understand, again, what they're saying, why they're saying it. And yes, there are many evangelicals, any very conservative white Christians who are pushing this as well. And you nailed it. They want a holy war. They want a race war. They want this to be a white country. It is clear as day.
And Roland, really important point. Charlie Kirk at only 31, the impact he had, because he was one of the most successful pushers of this white Christian nationalistic idea. And so I think that's why all of his defenders are out there so strenuously denying he said anything divisive, because they know if you really go through Charlie Kirk's public record, everything he said about people of color and black women and Muslims and gays and transgenders, if people took the time to go through all of that, and that was put out for average people to see, they'd be blown away by it. That's why his defenders are like supercharged right now. They don't want that record to be seen.
Today, you mentioned, and I mentioned as well, Vice President J.D. Vance sitting in to do his show. And listen to this man just blatantly lie, Joe. Play it.
I read a story in The Nation magazine about my dear friend, Charlie Kirk. Now, The Nation isn't a fringe blog. It's a well-funded, well-respected magazine whose publishing history goes back to the American Civil War. George Soros's Open Society Foundation funds this magazine, as does the Ford Foundation and many other wealthy titans of the American progressive movement. The writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words. He made an argument against affirmative action as a policy. He criticized a specific Supreme Court justice as an individual. He never said anything about black women as a group. He made an argument for judging people of all races and backgrounds by their own individual merits.
Bullshit.
Okay, Joe, this is actually what he said.
No, Roland, that's utter bullshit.
In fact, you know, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color.
All right, Joe. He literally said it. Not only that, Vance lied. Soros does not fund the nation. So he sat there and flat out lied.
And Roland, remind me, what's J.D. Vance's job? He's the vice president, and yet he had time today to do a radio show for a former right-wing podcaster. I mean, look what they're not even, Roland, they're not even subtle about it, what this White House is doing. They believe, man, the path to victory is fear, hate, and division. And that's what they're putting out there. That was Charlie Kirk literally going after 4 accomplished black women by saying they didn't have the brain power to get where they got. This is what he believed. And this is what MAGA believes. And that, again, Roland, broken record, that's why Charlie Kirk was so damn successful, why he had such a big audience.
Yeah, and not only that, you take Nick Fuentes, who's to the right of Charlie Kirk. The night of or the day after Kirk was shot and killed, Fuentes had 200,000 people watching him live. And so what you have this fervor. And so when I listen to Trump and Vance and all these people talk about, how the left, they're indoctrinating. No, and you know this very well, the indoctrination nation. We've had people who formerly are with Turning Point USA put out videos talking about how it was really this cult-like figure, this messianic figure, as they sort of set Kirk up as, and how they want them to follow that. And so that's what's going on here. These people are not trying to have open dialogue. And not only that, Joe, you take Trump, okay? Trump was very clear in saying he was not going to call Governor Tim Walz after those 4 folks were shot in Minnesota. 2 were killed, including former Speaker of the House and her husband. Now today he's saying, oh, he never even heard of Melissa Hortman, and if the governor had asked him, he would have, of course, lowered the flags to have staff. I'm sorry, he's also lying. He knew about her. He knew about the shooting, but he was so arrogant that he said, oh, 2 Democrats, a Democrat Speaker of the House shot and killed? Yeah, I don't care, but lower the flags to have staff with Charlie Kirk. Flies body on Air Force 2. Do a memorial service at the Kennedy Center. Do another one at the Arizona Cardinal Stadium. Give him the Medal of Freedom. And I'm telling you, they're going to give him a state funeral. That's what you're seeing right now. And then you got Peter Hegseth going after members of the military who said anything negative in the aftermath of his death. You've got Kirk supporters creating a database of people of every social media post, and then even Van saying in the podcast, you call their employer. So the so-called free speech people all of a sudden are saying, if you say anything negative about Charlie Kirk after what took place last week, we're going to come after you, come after your job. Oh, I thought they hated cancel culture, Joe.
Yeah. Roland, I remember back in my right-wing radio days, I would come on every day, and there was always some story about some leftist group on a college campus that couldn't handle speech that made them uncomfortable
to say.
Roland, this is scary, and you and I are old enough, man, to remember huge figures in American history who were gunned down, struck down, military leaders, civil rights leaders. We are treating this 31-year-old podcaster, MAGA influencer, like he's Jesus Christ. So I come from the right. Why are my old colleagues and friends on the right doing this, Roland? Because the right wants a religious war. Let's just call it. They want a civil war. They want a holy war. That's why they're putting him up to be some Jesus-like martyr.
Absolutely. I mean, Glenn Beck literally came out and said he was a civil rights leader. Oh, my God, stop it. Stop it. I've seen people say, I've seen a lot of these videos, I'm leaving my church because my pastor did not mention him. This was a Christian warrior. And let's just be clear. You said it, white Christian nationalists. It's slaveholder religion. We heard a lot of this stuff during slavery, during Jim Crow, things along those lines. And this whole idea about, it was about debate. It was about, exchange of ideas. I mean, come on, let's just stop it. And so we see what's going on here. We see the games that are being played. And then what gets me, Joe, is this whole deal of, oh my God, the left, how they indoctrinated him and the accused killer going to a university. The dude was at a university for 1 semester, Joe. You're trying to tell me that 1 semester at a mostly white institution in Mormon, Utah, which is not a liberal bastion, somehow just radicalized him? I mean, it really is showing folks the hand they're trying to play.
Yeah, and I think even on top of that, Roland, I think it was like some technical school. So it wasn't some crazy liberal arts school for a semester. Look, cut through all the BS. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, has publicly said that America should be a white Christian country. This is what animates my former party. Roland, you know me, right? Tea Party Hellraiser. I don't come from the left. I left the Republican Party when the Republican Party became MAGA. And my fellow Democrats and folks on the left need to understand Now these people are on the right. Now this is MAGA. MAGA now are the snowflakes. MAGA, Roland, they now need their safe spaces. It's funny, but it's not funny. And you're right about J.D. Vance, man. He just flat out lied. I mean, the last 30-year history of political violence in this country, the vast majority of it is right-wing. It always has been. And they put out this lie that it's only on the left. It's not even, Roland, a both sides problem between the left and the right. There is political violence on the left, but the vast majority is on the right, and they know that, and they're lying because they're trying to inflame their base. And Roland, I hear from their base every day, and let me tell you something, they are inflamed. I mean, they are ready to march and grab their you-know-what. This is a scary time.
It is, and folks need to understand what is certainly at stake. Joe Walsh, I appreciate you joining us on the show.
History of the cross, known by their works. What's the history of the cross? 500-year history of the cross. Murder, rape, destruction, deception, enslavement, burning, terrorizing. To maintain a slavery system, you must terrorize the people 24/7. They terrorize people from Africa and America for 400 years. Constant terror, 24/7, rape, murder. In the name of Jesus. This was Christians, not Buddhists, not Hindus. Christians, in the name of Jesus, where they said Jesus cursed black people, they call them Ham, cursed them to be slaves and persecuted forever. In the name of Jesus, raped our women incessantly, pissed in our mouths, made us eat shit. And they took and tried to clean up, not clean it up, but make it look more fashionable, I guess, by calling it chitlins. That's after slavery, of course, after so-called slavery. Because what was into it was not slavery. Look up slavery. Look up slavery. It does include murder, rape, terror. This is a Holocaust. And then now they try to downplay it. Oh, that was 40 years ago. No, it wasn't 40 years ago. I don't care if it was a million years ago. It was 40 years ago. It lasts for 400 years. And it's enduring today. They took everything away from the slaves. Everything. Their name, their culture, their families, their religion, their minds, everything. Fed their children to alligators as alligator bait. And then they talk about what's going on in Gaza when they did 1,000 times worse. What's going over in Gaza now is simply just a miniature version of what they did. What they did was far worse than what's going on in Gaza. Gaza's bad. It's genocide. What they did was far worse and much longer. That's the legacy of Christianity. Murder, rape, disease. They wiped out the native population with genocide and disease. Smallpox blankets, knowing they was full with disease. Herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea from sleep with animals. So-called common cold was not common. Didn't exist here on this side of the world until they brought it here. Murder, rape. When they was raping out women, there was a cross hanging from their neck. And again, they taught black that this was God's will. God's will. The enslavement of our people. And they continue on even today. That's the legacy of Christianity, the cross. So where's your rap sheet? Every time they arrest one of our people, your rap sheet. What's your rap sheet? How are you going to judge people for murder when you're guilty of murder beyond imagination for hundreds of years? Hundreds of years. Theft. You stole this land and murdered its people. And you crushed the native people here. When the Braves would go out hunting, you would come into the camps like cowards and kill the women and smash the children's brains out on the hooves of your horses. This is the legacy of Christianity. That's the legacy of it. The question is, if instead of Columbus coming here, Dracula came here, Beelzebub, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Satan, and they all came instead of Columbus. What could they have done that Columbus and those that followed him did? Satan is the God of this world. That's the God they're serving. They have known him by their works. What are the works of Christianity? What are the works of Christianity? Where's the works of Christianity? Evil, deception, mischief, bloodshedding. It goes on today. And what's going on in Gaza, just reflection and microcosm of what was done here in America for hundreds of years. Raped out women incessantly. They would even rape while they was out in the fields picking cotton. They would jump off their horse and tell them to bend over and rape them. And tell them to keep picking cotton while they was doing it. This is the kind of stuff that they would do. Make one slave defecate in the slave and slave in the mouth of another slave, and then bound it up so he couldn't spit it out for 7 days. That's a legacy of slavery. You did it all in the name of Jesus. There's a legacy of slavery. Legacy of slavery. 40 years plus. Legacy of Christianity. Legacy of the cross. That's the legacy. That's the true legacy. So whose works are those? Who are you serving? Who are you serving? The legacy of the cross. Where's your rap sheet, America? Gog? Where's your rap sheet, Magog? Britain? Where's your mateship? Where's your rap sheet? Antichrist, false Israel? What's your rap sheet? Then they colonized Africa. They're stealing from ripping off everyone. The legacy of Christianity has been ruling for over 500 years. And now, the threat of nuclear war to finish off everything. That's a legacy of Christianity in the name of your Jesus.
Surely you ain't talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. The heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Put it back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And the ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the old rhythm, crying, wanting to return, with their hands stretched out towards that ship, and tied in chains themselves bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You and I, turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel acting such? And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you are free. Remember that.
take it. Surely you ain't talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. What the heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Put it back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And this ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our past hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, watching to return, with their hands stretched out towards that ship, and tied in chains themselves bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will, you are now turning your face from your own native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel acting such? And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their own 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment, condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you are free. Remember that.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulman Rahim here, Veteran of Covenant. Okay, brothers and sisters, it's been a year now, and we're finally home after 40 years in Arabia. I'm reporting to you from Arabia. Finally home after 40 years. Right? And so we've been here a year now. And there was an agreement made. A former slave master, he said, we had a choice. Stay here or leave. Right? So we chose our inheritance, Arabia. So we left. And half the original people decided they wanted to give up their inheritance and traded for a place in America in reconciliation with their former slave master. That's their choice. They chose, said, we don't want to go over to Arabia. We don't go to where it's sand and all that stuff. We want to stay here in America. We've been here all our lives, been here 40 years, born here, right? And we can make peace with our slave master. Okay, so they decided to stay. And so after a year, right, we get reports of how things are going over there, and it doesn't sound too good. How things are going over in America with their reparations, because they was given, they got 6 states, I believe. Yeah, see, yeah. Yeah, they got those 6 states right there. That's what Farrakhan told them. They was listening to Farrakhan. Farrakhan promised them, they stay there, 6 states, right? Had their own land, and they can make reconciliation with the former slave master. They're not devils. They're not devils. They're human beings. They just had a rough, they were just. Did some things wrong, but now they're gonna make amends and make reparations. So 6 states, and in addition to that, they gave everybody $1 million. Everybody stayed $1 million. Okay? Say, thank you, Farrakhan. They're so happy. Thank you, Farrakhan. Thank you, Farrakhan. Man, you got 6 states. That's what you promised us. We got 6 states. They're thanking you. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? And this was a year ago. They got the 6 states. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? Everybody got $1 million. Everybody $1 million. And they're rejoicing. Oh man, they're so happy. Hey, we came, man. We made it. We got America, man. We got reconciliation for a master. You got 6 states. Everybody got $1 million. We're all rich. That was a year ago when we left. Okay, so we're in Arabia. They're still back there in America. And now we're getting reports a year later. This was the way it was a year ago, man. They were so happy. They were so happy. Right? And now we get reports of what's going on right now. Let's see. Oops, it says a power failure. Great power failure in those 6 states. Power failure. And just those 6 states. Right? So, and now they have big and massive. They came asking to turn the power. Well, why can't they do it? Oh, Farrakhan didn't train anybody. He was telling you about 6 states, he never prepared you for them. So nobody knows how to do it. How to turn the power grid back on. So now he's begging, man, master, can you come and turn this thing back on for us? I mean, you would think that if he told them 6 states and promised them that he would have prepared them for it, right? Their schools and education, whatever they need for that. But now, I guess they didn't, because they said over there now he's begging this former master to come and turn the power back on. And then what? I mean, this is all that's happening now. I mean, I'm getting these imports in now. A year later, it's like they're coming in every hour. Power grid failure, right? Then say, oops, crop failure. All of a sudden, there's no. They say, they looked at the farmers when they done it. Farmers said, oh. So then they asked master, what's happening here? How come you know? Right? Our crop. They found that the land they gave them wasn't that fertile. A year later, nothing's growing. Crop failure. And now they master, what's happening here? Right? And then, I mean, all these things, every hour that's coming in, right? And then they look, you know, and man, they had, you know, a year ago, they had plenty of food on the shelves, right? And now, they look there now, and all the food's gone. It's gone. And she said, what am I going to do here? Food's gone. The house is empty. So he said, Master, we need some food. Well, how come you can't produce your own food? I mean, you want your own country. You got your own states. That's your country. Then you run it. What are you calling us for? Right? And so they've been praying. And then, oops, no fuel. There's Master, no fuel there. Well, you got to buy your fuel. You got to produce your own fuel. What you calling us for? You got your own 6 states now. What you calling us for? Go and get some fuel. You got money, right? You got your own states. So you got to get your own. What you calling us for? You said you wanted your own, so now you got it. And you got your reparations, so we don't owe you anything anymore. We don't owe you anything anymore, so what you calling us for? We don't owe you anything. You said you agreed to 6 states and $1 million per person. You took that instead of your inheritance, what you call the Abrahamic covenant, Arabia. You know, your brothers and sisters, they left, they took that was offered to them, they took it. And you said, no, I want this instead. So now you got it. So what you calling us for? Oh, no communications. Oh, man. No communications, right? No medical facilities. So what's going on, Master? Wait a minute, hold on. What you calling us for? That's yours. You got to handle that stuff. You want us to handle it for you? You want independence, now you have it. I mean, wow, this stuff was coming every hour, man. Instead of like a year, they was celebrating. And now they crying and begging the Master, okay, we got all these problems here. I said, wait a minute, that's yours. Where'd you come about your problems? You have to work those out. Right? No transportation, I mean, no planes, no nowhere. We don't know about fly the planes and drive the trucks and the boats and stuff and to go and get this stuff. Well, what you done that for? You wanted this, you got it. So go ahead and train your own pilots, build your own planes, build your own boats and right? You see what I'm saying? Transportation, build your own trucks. What you calling for? Yeah, Master, we see this. You said you wanted 6 states, you got it. You want $1 million per person. That was your reparations. So now if you didn't pay people to take care of this, how's that our problem? You're independent now. You're really free now. Oops, no fuel, the gas station's empty. I can't drive, eh? And no gas. Man, wow. All this stuff happened like for a year. They thought that everything was great, and all of a sudden everything ran out. So I guess what happened? Everything was there when they got it, and then it ran out. They had to, for them to replace the fuel, to get the farms going. So they was left with that stuff. The factory was full. I mean, warehouses full. Then you had to keep They thought that was just going. I guess they thought it was just going to be there, just by itself. They didn't prepare for it. See, and they ain't trained any engineers and scientists and architects and stuff. They ain't, business. They didn't train anybody. So Farrakhan, he told you he's going to get this for you, but he didn't prepare you for it. He didn't get anybody to handle this stuff. So what was that all about? So now he asked the master, hey, don't call on me. You was here, you had it when you was here with me. You said you want independence, you wanted reparations, so you gave it to you. Well, call on your brothers over there. They left, they handled their own business. You said you want to stay here. Right? See? You don't have any professionals or technicians, scientists, doctors, none of that. See? I mean, that's what, because if you're going to set reparation, you should be preparing for that, right? So if he was telling you about reparation, you should be preparing for it. If he said God said that's what he's going to get you, so if God told him he's going to get that for you, then he should, like when God told Noah there was a flood coming, to only build an ark, so he started building an ark. And so you should start preparing for the 6 states and the reparations, but apparently you didn't. And so now, it does say, look, hold it. We want total separation. Look, we don't want you calling us no more. We don't want you calling us no more. Because you're wearing us. You want your own country. You got your own land. Right? You got money, $1,000,000, all this stuff, right? And so now we got to protect your money and everything too? No, you have to create your own money. You have to do all these things, your own wealth, not ours. Right? So we're going to cut you off from that too. That's whole economics. So they go and tell it. They tell all the people all the white folks, right? Because all the black folks, now all the black folks is either in Arabia or in those 6 states. That's the solution. You had to be one way or the other. There couldn't be no integration, all that kind of stuff. That's the deal. You just said one or the other. So all the black folks are there, ain't no integration, all that kind of stuff, right? Black folks are there, one or the other, so they're there. So they said, okay, right? So they just say, we're going to take that money because we don't know what y'all doing over there. You have your own money, you have to find your own wealth. So what they do is they tell all the white folks, say, protect your money, right? Transfer your money into gold. Transfer all your dollars into gold. Okay. Now remember, they gave everybody $1 million apiece. So everybody got $1 million apiece, right? And so they transfer it to gold. And then what happens is that what they do is they start just printing money. White folks just start printing money. You understand what that means? That's inflation. Right? Because if you got $1 million of gold, a million ounces of gold, say a million ounces of gold, understand this, and you got 1 million certificates, then you say each certificate is worth 1 ounce. If you got 1 million ounces, each certificate is worth 1 ounce. Understand that? If you got 1 million ounces of gold and you got 1 million certificates, each one of those certificates is worth 1 million. If you want to say trade with the certificates, each one of the certificates is worth 1 ounce of gold. Right? But if you take and print, you say you got 1 million ounces of gold and you got 1 million certificates, each one. But say you print twice as many certificates, you got 2 million. Well, then each certificate is only worth 50 cents now, because you got to connect that to the gold. Well, you print 4 times, then each one is worth a quarter. So the more you print, the less they worth, because those certificates have to equal what the gold is. You understand? So the more you print money, the less, right? The less they're worth. So if you print twice as much money, right, there's less gold. You understand? So $1 is worth 1 ounce of gold, which that's right. Then if you print double that amount of dollars, then each one's worth half an ounce. You understand? That's what printing money without increasing their wealth does. That's inflation. So what happens is they keep printing. They get down to where $100 is worth a penny. But see, that doesn't affect their people. They told to protect their money because they transfer their money to gold. So gold still has its value. It's just the dollars don't. It still got the same amount of gold. But the dollars, they get down to a penny. So you can't buy it. You had $1 million, now your $1 million worth of $5. That's what all this worth. $1 million. Hardly worth anything. Hey, that's our money. You gotta have your own money, you control your own wealth. You can't keep coming to us what you're doing. And you think they wouldn't do that? Yeah, you've been a Gaza lately? You see what happened to the trees they made with the so-called natives? Kept telling me you had a forked tongue because they kept making trees with them, then they broke the trees. And took their land and genocide and everything else. But no, they wouldn't do that to you. See? Because now you have, your money's worth nothing. They haven't lost anything. Because once that money's worthless, it's no good, right? Then you burn it up, throw it away, it's worth nothing. The people still got gold. And even if they take it, hold on to money, hope to increase again, they're using a different certificate, using another form of money. So it's still worth nothing. That $1 million you had, you was so happy with now, it's probably worth maybe $1. So you can't buy anything with $1. Plus the economy's collapsed because everything is failing, and you don't know how to repair it. You don't have to build communications. You don't know how to do any of this stuff. You don't have to engineer, build a house. You don't have to do anything because Farrakhan didn't. Right? He didn't prepare you. He told you he'll give you 6 days. He told you, listen to me, right? So now you're broke, and your economy is gone. You have no food, no electricity, no power, anything. Right? It's not their fault. They gave you what you asked for. You saw out your inheritance for that. And then they closed the border. Because you're going to try to get back into America now. We want to come back in, Master. No, we don't want you back in here. We sorry, we want to come in. No. That's what you chose. You stay there. They closed the border, so you can't get back in here. You can't get back in America, into what you call your land now? Swaziland or something? Farrakhan. Maybe you call it Traveland. Farrakhan. They met the Farrakhan. Right? So they close the borders, you can't, because now you're hungry and everything else, your money's worthless. Oh God, come back, Master, I'll come back work for you, I'll work for Popeyes, I'll do anything you want. No, remember, now blacks, either they over in Arabia or they in that land. There are no blacks in America, in places, just in that land, that you 6 days. And now you're starving, you ain't got no, your money's worthless, nothing works, and they close the border. Right? And then you see Master, you on the phone, you talking to the guy that you kept treating, help you. Hey, we finally got rid of them niggas. Finally got rid of them. Finally got rid of them. See on the phone. Yeah, it worked. We sold them no reparations. We sold them that used car. You turned the miles back and everything else, and they bought it. See? They could have had a BMW. They could have had a Lamborghini. They sold that for a BMW that looked good. Damn thing didn't work. And now they're starving, living in tents. Praying. So what? Then what next? What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do, Farrakhan? You told us to take reparations, so we did. But they gave us everything that we asked for. What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do? Pray, 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 pray. That's his answer. Pray, pray, pray. That's your reparations. Like Elijah Muhammad said, he had a big picture. We leaving, and blacks staying on the shore, the ones stay behind, and they was whooping their ass. Right? Because they thought you think they would give you some land and take care of you? You think they want to do that? And go bankrupt, give everybody $1 million? How much that is? If it's 17 million, if it's 17 million times 17 million times a million is like $17 trillion, I think, something like that there. Then they're going to do all that for you. They want to get rid of you. So now they have succeeded. Because they closed the border. And what you going to do? You want to fight to come out? They closed the border. They got the military around there. They finally got rid of you. No more black problem, no more Negro problem anymore. One group's out of here, another group that's here. They're gone, and our hands are clean. We gave them what they wanted. Well, anything. Okay. God honors contracts. Remember, he honored the contract with Jacob. Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of soup to Jacob, when it was Esau's inheritance, and God honored it. Okay, Jacob, it's yours. You're the one. And that's the deal. Because he ain't your friend. Farrakhan ain't your friend. Pray, pray, pray. That's the answer. This is homeland you was promised. You never rejected it. So now you got what you asked for. So if they gave you reparations today or tomorrow, how would that scenario not play out like that? Well, they say, okay, you got it. Tell me how the scenario wouldn't play out like that. And tell me why they wouldn't do it. They love you so much, they're going to say, okay, we're going to take care of them. I mean, why should they go out their way to take care of you when you was right here? You was working at Popeyes and living in the get-up on Section 8, all that stuff right here where they... Because they're trying to get rid of that stuff right now. Trump's trying to get rid of all that stuff right now. Because they're closing on you don't realize it. Anyway, that's just, that's what's happening over in America. Wow. Boys come here. Disaster over there. And, I just got a call. Oh, wait, hold on. Really? You serious? Our ambassador just got a call from I don't know what they call them. They call it Conland or something. I forgot what it's some name to call it right there. That 6th day. They begged us to come and help. Can they come over here? Can we come and get them? Really? Can we come and get them and bring them? Oh no. Now he went and asked Master Farrakhan Muhammad, right? He said, no, hell no. We ain't going to get them. And I agree with that. Yeah, the bastard said he said, let's call him, and he passed the word to Master Muhammad. Master Muhammad said, send him back. And no, we can't come and get you. You made your choice, live with it. Or die, whatever the situation is. Wow. I can't believe that. They actually, right, sent a message over. I don't know how they did. I don't have any communication with it. Somehow they got the information over to him. Said, would we please come and get him? Nope. Said, no, tell him no. And don't waste time communicating with us anymore. You got your land, you got your reparations, you got your money, you got Farrakhan as your leader. Yeah, tell him, talk to him, let him straighten out for you. He didn't want to sell you the idea. He was a salesman. So you on that idea of reparations. We told you. Right? Suleiman, right? He was the messenger to you, telling you, look, man, let's go home. You said no. You chose not to. Okay, bro, since that's a sad story. But I guess that's it. Is that it? Well, if anybody getting more reports on Okay, he says that was Matthew Farrakhan Muhammad's final decision, and I think they closed communications off from there. So, like I said, brothers and sisters, we got those rides that came in. All that came in today, man. Came in fast. After a whole year, total collapse. Now they begging it. Somebody help them. We can't do it. Maybe Master help you. We won't do it. Assalamu alaikum. Update, brothers and sisters, got another late report in that they said, well, if you want to come and get us, well, we at least send them some food. They begged, said, please send them some food. Master Muhammad said, we got to send them a damn thing, nothing, zero. He said, please just send some food. No, I just got that in. He says, if you can't come and get us, please send some food. He says, no. He refused. That's the report. I just got the information from the ambassador. He said, they sent that, and he's read to me. He says, no. He said, please, just please send us some food. He said, no way. You made your choice, case closed. Okay, just got that in, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.